What's up, nerds? I'm Kendrick, your not-so-friendly neighborhood otaku, and welcome to my channel where I talk all things anime, manga, manhwa, and webcomics. If that's the type of thing you're into, then subscribe, because I'll put one video out every Thursday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 2 to 3 shorts of anime commentary out every Monday to Wednesday, also at 1 p.m. Today, I'm going to be continuing the series where I go back and read the Jujutsu Kaisen manga over from the beginning and bring you all along with me. As always, this series is great for anyone who's a first-time JJK fan, anime only, who wants to get caught up, or who, like me, as the series progresses, begins forgetting some of those smaller moments and key details from earlier volumes. So, without further ado, let's get into Volume 5. In Chapter 35, Yuuji responds to Aoi's question about what type of girl he likes by saying he likes tall women with big butts. Aoi then pulls the big brain move of tricking himself into thinking he and Yuuji have a history together and that they're best friends despite them just meeting. He reminisces on this fake past while Momo flies above them, talking to the other Kyoto students and confirming their location. The Kyoto students then surround Yuuji and begin to attack him with their various jujutsu techniques. As Mai fires her rubber bullets, Miwa uses her new shadow-style simple domain for her Bato sword drawing attack, but Yuuji dodges both of them. Miwa notes that she only hesitated for a moment, but Yuuji is so fast he was still able to dodge. Then, after Mekamaru uses a blast attack, Yuuji realizes the students from Kyoto are trying to kill him. Then Aoi claps his hands using his curse technique to switch everyone's positions before attacking Noritoshi. He reminds Noritoshi that he was going to kill anyone who got in his way, and when Noritoshi corrects him, Aoi just tells him to leave. As the Kyoto students leave the fight to Aoi, Noritoshi tells him to make sure he kills Yuuji, claiming that whether Yuuji lives or dies is up to him. He's not going to take it easy on him even though they're best friends. Momo flies away and notes the lousy start that they're having to the Goodwill event since they should have left Aoi to fight Yuuji by himself in the first place. As she keeps her eyes open for any curses they can hunt down, Megumi commands Nue to take her down. We then see Noritoshi, Mai, Mekamaru, and Miwa decide to split up. As soon as they split up though, Maki attacks Miwa and Megumi takes on Noritoshi. He then asks Noritoshi about their plan to assassinate Yuuji. In Chapter 36, we're a little bit earlier in the Goodwill event where both Megumi and Panda inform their teams that something feels off. While the Jujutsu High students broke off into teams, the Kyoto students are sticking together and moving around where they left Yuuji. Megumi tells Maki his divine dog would have sensed the grade 2 curse if it was backed by Yuuji, which makes him think the Kyoto students are planning to kill Yuuji instead. Panda then tells Inumaki and Nobara that he wouldn't put it past Principal Gakuganji to give that order. Although Nobara thinks the Kyoto students would have to be lowlives to kill on command, Panda explains that they don't know Yuuji personally and they think of him as Sukuna's vessel, which is to be feared. And to them, killing Sukuna's vessel is no different than exercising a curse. They think Kyoto is planning to use the confusion of a team battle to assassinate Yuuji, so once this event is over, the assassination attempt should be called off. When Panda and Nobara head back to where Yuuji is, they stumble across Momo who's stuck in a tree, unable to move for a while after being hit by Nue's electric shock wings. They taunt her to come down while elsewhere. Megumi questions Noritoshi if they're trying to kill Yuuji, saying the big 3 sorcerer families have a reason to take him out. Meanwhile, Yuuji and Aoi's duel continues. Yuuji shows his prowess and abilities by using the environment to his advantage and briefly overcoming Aoi. Aoi then attacks, but Yuuji blocks his arm and lands a solid punch on Aoi's jaw with immense raw power. Aoi thinks that even with a smaller frame, Yuuji is stronger than him, and even though he's not using a lot of curse energy, his hits are effective. In fact, it's because he has such low curse energy that it's hard for Aoi to read his movements. And he becomes frustrated by the dual impact punch Yuuji uses, and he shouts into the sky, "It's all wrong." His words echo throughout the area as Maki asks Miwa if she broke off from the other students since she's hiding her curse technique from them. Although she knows this sounds like an excuse, Miwa tells Maki she's not going to let her win. She needs a recommendation to be promoted to a higher level of Jujutsu Sorcerer, and a lot of sorcerers follow the Goodwill event, so this is her best chance to succeed. Miwa wants to be promoted so she could be independent and start making money since she and her brothers are poor. We then jump back to Yuuji and Aoi's fight when Aoi tells Yuuji his delayed hit is holding him back. He tells Yuuji he won't be able to defeat him if he remains satisfied with that dual impact punch, and their friendship won't last. Although Yuuji doesn't care about this fake friendship, he's not okay with being weak. In Chapter 37, we open on the idea that the hand cannot advance faster than the eye. Essentially, this means that the rate of growth for those with an eye in their area of expertise eclipse the rate of growth for those who do not. We see this in Yuuji as he's now fighting Aoi in a completely different way than he was before, growing his abilities in real time. Yuuji overpowers Aoi and begins to take him down. He throws a punch, but it's intercepted by Aoi's forehead that he brought up to stop the momentum. He then explains that Yuuji's divergent fist is due to the cursed energy left behind because of Yuuji's superhuman speed. While his technique and attack is fine against the average sorcerer, it's useless against a special grade. He goes on to say that the dual impact is because of how Yuuji is flowing his cursed energy. He tells Yuuji he's thinking of his body as disparate parts, which is causing the delay in his energy flow. We exist in this world holistically as body, mind, and soul, but people take that for granted, thinking about different aspects of ourselves as separate entities. With this, Yuuji has an epiphany and the fight between him and Aoi resumes. Meanwhile, Nobara asks Momo if the principal gave the order to kill Yuuji. When Momo feigns ignorance, Nobara says she doesn't have to keep it a secret because she's planning to kill them too, especially Mai. Nobara eggs her on more, calling Mekumaru a tin can and saying that she'll dump his scraps somewhere. She then sees something glint in the woods and Panda gets hit, falling to the ground. Mekumaru approaches them, but Momo tells him she personally wants to take out Nobara. Panda then suddenly gets up and lands a direct hit on Mekumaru's face, saying that they should get along since they're both cursed corpses. Mekumaru then begins to transform his arm, and Panda wonders what happened to hunting curses. In chapter 38, in a remote location, Kokichi, the heavily bandaged man controlling Mekumaru, thinks back to what Panda just said. Kokichi resents this, claiming that Panda is nothing but a doll, as he switches to sword option with boost on and attacks Panda with ultra spin. Panda avoids this attack and asks Mekumaru what rank he is in order to see how they stack up against each other in a fight. Mekumaru reveals he's semi-grade 1, which is 1 grade above Panda, as he blasts a beam of concentrated cursed energy called Ultra Cannon. Panda isn't hurt by this attack, so Mekumaru realizes his attacks are going to be useless if he doesn't hit Panda's core. Cursed corpses are non-living objects endowed with a curse that gains self-control, and because they are man-made, they have a core, not a heart. Panda was made by the foremost practitioner of puppet jujutsu sorcery, Principal Yaga, and is an abrupt mutation cursed corpse, meaning that he was born with sentience and gained emotion. In close combat, Panda holds the advantage over Mekumaru. He realizes Kokichi is controlling Mekumaru from outside the area, so his only option is to stop him here and now. Kokichi reveals he has a heavenly restriction, which allows him to exceed the limits of his cursed energy output in exchange for his useless body. But he didn't ask for this power, and he would much rather exchange his ability for a healthy body, even if that meant he needed to leave the jujutsu world. So seeing Panda live carefree as a doll pisses him off, and he uses ultimate Mekumaru mode, Albatross. His mouth then changes into a cannon, and Panda realizes he needs to take the hit head on or else Nobara will be in the line of fire. Mekumaru then uses ultimate cannon, blasting away Panda and the forest. Thinking he's dead, Mekumaru says Panda's not worthy of death as he begins to walk away. He then hears Panda's voice, shocked to learn he survived such a powerful cursed energy blast. When he turns around though, he sees that Panda has transformed into Panda Gorilla mode. In chapter 39, we flash back to when Panda was still a child and Principal Yaga informs him he has an older brother and sister. Panda says that's not true, but Principal Yaga informs him that they are inside of him and he will meet them one day. Back to the present, Mekumaru uses sword option Ultra Shield as Panda attacks with Gorilla mode using his sibling's power. Unlike most cursed corpses, Panda has 3 cores that he can switch between, transforming his body. His sister's core was hit by Mekumaru's initial shot, but he's still able to access his brother's power, which is great for short battles. Mekumaru was blasted back by Panda's attack and notes that it resonated, meaning that even while guarding, he was able to feel the damage. This is because Panda's brother's power is the unblockable drumming beat. If Mekumaru gets hit on the head or torso by that power again, he's gonna be out of commission, and his right arm's sword function is already malfunctioning. Though Mekumaru thinks his previous attacks failed, they actually damaged 2 of Panda's cores. Thinking Mekumaru will use a close range shot or a slashing attack to finish him off, Panda rushes in, knowing that he has the upper hand in close combat. Mekumaru flings a roof tile at Panda as he gets closer, and while Panda deflects the tile, Mekumaru uses his built-in elbow boosters to get behind Panda. He strikes his energy core and commends Panda for doing well for a cursed corpse, but he's again taken off guard when Panda grabs his arm and reveals he can fake his core's location. With a powerful strike, Panda wrecks Mekumaru's body and tells him that he lost because he underestimated a doll. Panda says he can help him, but Mekumaru says he wouldn't feel the same way if he saw his true form. With that, Panda begins to walk away, but stops and asks if he can borrow Mekumaru's phone. Meanwhile, Maki and Miwa's fight begins, and Miwa realizes she's greatly underestimated Maki. In chapter 40, we flash back to Mai telling Miwa that Maki is is worthless and she can't even see curses. However, now that Miwa is fighting Maki one-on-one, she realizes Maki is crazy strong. Maki is using a long weapon, so Miwa can't get close and is stuck on defense. She notes that if the blade of Maki's tool was exposed, she would have died twice, and she can easily handle grade 2 curses. Miwa then uses her new shadow style, Simple Domain. Her Simple Domain technique applies to anyone within a 2.21 meter radius of her, and anything that enters the domain will be intercepted automatically. However, once Miwa's feet leave the position where the spell was originally cast, the technique ends. Realizing Miwa's trying to disarm her, Maki breaks her long weapon and throws it as a distraction at Miwa. This causes Miwa's feet to move out of position, ending the Simple Domain as Maki gets closer. She grabs onto the katana that Miwa is holding, disarming her and taking it for herself. Elsewhere, we see Mei Mei and Gojo watching the fight as she laughs to herself, saying they should promote Maki to a grade 2 already. Gojo agrees with her, but notes that the Zenin clan keeps getting in the way of Maki being promoted. He then comments on how the video feed around Yuuji is inconsistent, which Mei Mei explains as the animals that they're watching it through being tired. When Gojo asks whose side she's on, she says the side of money. Then one of the talismans on the walls disappears in a flame, noting the respective curse has been exercised. Curses exercised by the Tokyo school will have a red flame, while those by the Kyoto school will have a blue flame. With the Jujutsu High and Kyoto High students fighting one-on-one, Gojo questions if they've forgotten the objective of the Goodwill event. We then cut to Momo and Nobara's fight as Momo flies around taunting Nobara for not being able to catch her. She uses cursed wind strong enough to push Nobara away, causing her to cover her eyes and guard herself against the gravel and branches. While she's off guard, Momo shoots her broom at Nobara, hitting her square in the face. Nobara asks how she could hit her in the face, which prompts a conversation about sexism in the Jujutsu world. While guys in the Jujutsu world are judged solely on their skill, if the girl's not also attractive, she's looked down upon. And if she's attractive but not skilled, it's the same outcome. Women Jujutsu sorcerers are not expected to just be skilled, they're expected to be perfect. Momo notes that despite Nobara being a first year, she's used to fighting and keeps getting back up. If she increases her power to take Nobara down though, she might just kill her. Momo wants to get closer but is on guard for Inumaki's cursed speech, constantly protecting her head. Nobara interrupts her train of thought, asking if she's done while throwing her cursed nails. Momo dodges, then explains how the perfection expected of women Jujutsu sorcerers is exasperated for Mai and Maki. Inheriting the Zenin clan's curse technique is reserved for the privileged. She goes on to say that even within the Zenin clan, women are not treated equally. The Zenin clan says that if you're not a member of the family, you're not worthy as a Jujutsu sorcerer, and if you're not a Jujutsu sorcerer at all, you're not worthy as a human. Asking Nobara to imagine the pain that Mai and Maki have gone through growing up pushes Nobara's button. She doesn't care how they were raised, she still despises Mai and likes Maki because of who they are today. She then asks Momo if she's ever stopped to think about the person behind the curse, referencing their assassination attempt on Yuuji. Nobara then uses her straw doll technique, Hairpin. The trees surrounding Momo begin to explode as she realizes why Nobara continued to throw the nails despite missing her. Nobara then tries to grab onto Momo's broom, but she kicks her away. Then Nobara pulls out one of her straw dolls and stabs a bristle from Momo's broom in it. Nobara yells at Momo, telling her to give her a break with all this girls versus boys nonsense and to shut the hell up, saying she likes dressing up, likes looking beautiful, and being strong. She then activates her straw doll technique Resonance, causing Momo to lose control of the broom. As she gets closer, Nobara realizes hitting her with her actual hammer may kill her, so she switches it out for a squeaky toy hammer and knocks Momo down. She hits her in the head several times and winds up to finish her off when she's hit by Mai's rubber bullet. Mai calls Momo to confirm that Mekamaru is out of the competition and tells her to return to the skies. Then, Mai is immediately confronted by Maki. Maki claims Mai should have kept Momo around for backup, but Mai says she wants to fight Maki one-on-one. In chapter 42, we jump back to Nobara asking Yuuji what he thinks of Maki as a Jujutsu sorcerer. Although Yuuji doesn't know much about Jujutsu still, he knows Maki is a strong fighter. So when Nobara reveals she's only a grade 4, Yuuji is shocked. Nobara explains that her family keeps getting in the way of her promotion since they don't want to accept someone they already rejected no matter how strong she is. However, if she does well in the Goodwill event, it'll be harder for the Zenin clan to interfere. Maki reflects back on this conversation she overheard about how her classmates want to help her get promoted and prove her skills when Mai shoots at her with a rubber bullet. Maki slices the rubber bullet in half, then rushes Mai, cutting the branch that she's standing on, causing her to fall. As she falls, she shoots Maki again and misses. Then Maki kicks her hard in the abdomen, and Mai thinks that Maki has something she doesn't. We then flash back to when Mai and Maki were young. The Zenin clan feels that twins are a bad omen, especially since Maki can't see curses or use curse techniques. As Maki and Mai walk around, Mai is scared because she's able to see the curse in their path, but Maki grabs her hand, telling her to close her eyes and she'll lead the way. When they're a bit older, After, Maki confronts Naobito, the head of the Zenin clan, and tells him that she's leaving. But not to worry, as she'll be back someday as the head of the Zenin clan, which makes him laugh. He says he'll make her life a little harder, but she can do what she wants. He says he'll do the same for Mai too, but Maki walks away saying Mai has nothing to do with it, as she eavesdrops in on their conversation. During their fight, Maki has counted that Mai has used 6 shots, meaning that she needs to reload her weapon. Mai hates Maki for leaving, which is why she never revealed her curse technique to her. Mai then uses curse technique construction to create a bullet from nothing and shoot it at Maki. But Maki grabs the bullet with her bare hand as Mai slumps down with her cursed energy completely drained. She again thinks about how Maki has something she doesn't, similar to Mekumaru's heavenly restriction, but instead she traded in having a curse technique for having superhuman capabilities. Though her skills were shunned by the Zenin clan, it's something Mai doesn't and will never have. With Mai defeated, she asks Maki why she left her. Maki doesn't understand the question and said that Mai left too to go to a jujutsu school. Mai said she never wanted to be a jujutsu sorcerer, but Maki tried her hardest, which forced Mai to not fall far behind when they could have fallen down the hole together. Maki says that if she would have stayed and become a servant in the Zenin clan, she would have hated herself. Maki apologizes to Mai, who thinks back to when they were younger, when she asked Maki to stay by her side and not leave her behind. In chapter 43, the final chapter in this volume, we see Megumi and Noritoshi's fight. Noritoshi shoots his arrows at Megumi, but he's able to deflect 2 of them, and his toad Shikigami catches the 3rd with its tongue. Megumi notices there's a trace amount of blood on his arrow, which confirms his suspicion that Noritoshi's ability defies physics. Noritoshi tells him to stop holding back and to summon a 2nd Shikigami, but Megumi's divine dog is already summoned and busy with something else. To brush this off, Megumi points out the single arrow Noritoshi has left, saying he won't help him if he collapses due to anemia, essentially confirming that Noritoshi uses blood manipulation to control whatever his blood touches. Noritoshi then shoots his arrow at the roof, causing debris to fall down and blocking Megumi's line of sight. Suddenly, Noritoshi's no longer at the top of the stairs, but right in front of Megumi when he attacks. Megumi is able to defend against it, but realizes Noritoshi is much stronger and faster than before. Noritoshi attacks again, and this time when Megumi defends himself, he's late with his jujutsu protection. We then learn that Noritoshi can manipulate blood beyond its form or motion. Body temperature, pulse rate, number of red blood cells, etc. are all under Noritoshi's control. He then uses flowing red sail, which functions similar to doping, to instantaneously boost his physical abilities. Elsewhere, Miwa stands in the woods, still shocked that Maki took her katana. When her phone rings, she picks it up to hear Inumaki say sleep, effectively eliminating her from the team battle. Inumaki took Mekumaru's phone from the hand Megumi's divine dog retrieved, convincing Miwa to pick up the phone since it's coming from her own teammate. After telling the divine dog to return to Megumi, Inumaki notices this black aura. As the teachers and sorcerers watch on, Urahime says she's going to retrieve Miwa since it's not safe to leave her in the forest full of curses. Then flash back to Principal Gakuganji showing Noritoshi the semi-grade 1 curse they plan to release in the area. Even though they're only supposed to release a grade 2 curse, Principal Gakuganji says that wouldn't be enough, and he hands Noritoshi a vial of scent and a whistle to control the curse, telling him to make it kill Yuuji if he can. Gakuganji explains that the curse has been trained to sit still until it hears the whistle, so it shouldn't be at risk of being exercised prior to that. When the video feed around Yuuji previously cut out, Noritoshi mixed his blood with the scent from the vial and placed it on Yuuji, so the semi-grade 1 curse will attack him when activated. Inumaki spots the semi-grade 1 curse, but before he can do anything, its head is severed and it's instantly killed. We then see Hanami appear from behind the trees to confront Inumaki. Elsewhere, Mahito and curse user Juzo Kumiya prepare to put their plan into motion. And that was volume 5. For those of you who made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching, and keep your eye out for next week where I'll post the full synopsis for volume 6. That is all for today, and I will see you next time.